Yo, when this game showed at Gamescom, I fell in love with it. The trailer showing off the game was phenomenal, showing off the smooth gameplay and movement, and the breathtaking visuals in this world we will be exploring. I wanted to know more about this game immediately. So I turned on my PC and I started doing my research on the game, and I find some interesting things about the game I wanted to share with people who also wanted to learn more about this world. The creatures and the villains we soon will be facing in this epic, massive MMORPG. So let's get straight into it with some basic information on this game. Onto basic information, this game takes place in the divided continent of Powell, a fictional place filled with beautiful lands and mystical creatures. Powell is divided up into regions like Akapen, covered in vast plains, and Wyden, described as an inhospitable cold lands. Now, Crimson Desert started off as a prequel to Black Desert, showing off the history of the game's world, and as development went on, the game grew its own uniqueness and originality. For the main character, you play as Macduff, son of Mardis, who hails from Wyden, also known as Land of the Wolf. Macduff follows in the tradition of his northern kingsmen. When Macduff was younger, he went through a traumatic event that try as he might, he cannot escape from. Things kick off in the story when the King of Dominus, unifier of lands, falls into a coma, which creates a power vacuum, with those who suffered under his rule wishing to use his now weakness to their advantage. Those who felt his oppression under his conquest now seek their own independence, and others wish to gain absolute rule for themselves. As Macduff, you lead a group of battle-hardened mercenaries, and you wish to expand this team. But in order to do so, you must travel the world and prove yourself to gain the trust of these warriors you wish to lead. In the world, we are put into a medieval fantasy world with mystical creatures like orcs, or is that some kind of giant? Dragons, werewolves, mechanical dragons, robots, and etc. Locations like the frozen lands, vast plains, and barren deserts. We also get a swamp-like area called the River of the Dead. The world looks filled with destructible structures like guard towers and huts. It seems like even the walls around the castle and towns can be destroyed. We are also getting parkour in this game, making me think that they took some inspiration from other popular game series, because this game is starting to look like an RPG, Assassin's Creed on crack. So the game is going to be called an MMORPG, so there will be other players to interact with. But you also can interact with the animals around the world, and the world itself, like chilling on a pile of hay, climbing trees, and it seems like we're getting mini games like arm wrestling and etc. We also can get a couple side quests and other stuff for NPCs. I'm sure we can fuck with them a little bit more by stealing their wagons and blowing their stuff up. But don't mess with the guards too much though, because you can be convicted of a crime if you do attack them too much. That much we do know. We see in one of the trailers that we can collect mushrooms and possibly other herbs and items to create potions and maybe poisons. And which is a great thing because we're going to need it, because the game is featuring dungeons, probably filled with tons of traps and puzzles. There also will be boss battles with dangerous creatures and villains. One of the villains seems to be a character called the Redevil. We see him multiple times during the trailer fighting the main character. There is something called a time dungeon, by the way, with a guy who looks straight out of Assassin's Creed, oddly enough. But I do think these time dungeons have something to do with these floating islands or structures or whatever they are. And they also have something to do with these mysterious portals and puzzles. And we're also getting a desert cult that worships an ancient god, robots, mechanical dragons. This world seems to be packed with interesting stuff. On to combat and gear. Along with swords, shields, bows and arrows, we're also getting pistols and cannons. Now it's not mentioned that we'll be getting any other firearm variations other than these two. What we do see in the trailer is Macduff using a sword coated in lightning. So elemental magic maybe? Hopefully so. The combat in the trailer shows beautiful yet ruthless combos, taking out groups of enemies, mixing in professional wrestling moves into weapon combat, going from hacking and slashing your opponents to damn near kicking them off of a cliff. With all the weapons and cannons and lightning swords, we will also be getting different sets of armor, showcased in the trailer, from looking like you're rocking a skin bear to full plate knight armor. You will travel through Powell in your own style. Next, we're getting the Eagle Vision type ability. What we have to use is to uncover some signal of some sort on the ground. Now we're getting this very interesting feature where during the Gamescom trailer we see that we get some type of ability that allows us to fly or glide in the air. I have no idea what this is, but it looks fun. Can't wait to try it out. Last thing I want to talk about is the movement. The horseback riding looks great, but the pole vault was definitely a surprise. I've never seen that in the game before, and it looks really dope. But that's all for the video. Thank you for staying to the end. Hit the like button if you like the video. Hit the subscribe button if you like more videos from me. Thank you. Later.